little video of Aurora's head. So for her head, it's a little bit fiddly and it's all on the paper instructions anyway, but just in case you're unsure of anything, I hope this will be a little bit helpful. So you've got your pieces for the head, which are her little wavy floral trim here, and the back of the head, and the ears, front and back. You've got a choice of faces. You've got the open eyes or closed eyes. So closed eyes is like this. So you see she comes out with her frill, ears on the front. This is the front of the ears, back of the ears are plain yellow, and this is the back so that her little body can go up in there and be stitched on. Okay, so if you cut those bits out, choose which face you want. I thought it'd be nice to, you could make this face into a brooch or something afterwards if you don't want it to be wasted. Anyway, so, and you're cutting these middle circles out, which make one of her little juggling balls later on. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to do the ears, get them all ready. So this is the front and this is the back of the ear. So I make sure I have that one and that one, and that one and that one. I normally just cut out one of side and then I can just trim round afterwards for the rest. Depends how small you want the ears as to how far into the yellow you go, but as long as you do go into the yellow and not on the white, you will be fine. So I'm actually using white thread because I realised I'd run out of yellow just now, so apologies. I do suggest using yellow if you can, but it won't show too much actually. Also make sure you have a really sharp needle. If you have a blunt needle on your machine, you can end up pulling the cotton. Or you might choose to hand stitch these. I know quite a lot of people do, and they do them absolutely beautifully. So I'll just do one ear first to show you. So you've got one ear done. Trim around the edge. You can go reasonably close. And then out. And then you just need to turn it out. And I use my trusty little chopstick because it's got quite a blunt end. It's wood, so it's kind of textured. Plastic I find really just slides around the place. And you've got one ear done, and you can press that ear and do the other one. So once both ears are ready, you can attach them to her face. You've actually got some little black marks on your fabric, so you'll know exactly where to go, but you can have them further round if you want her more characterful in different ways. Nearer the top looks kind of strange, but I'm just going to do it by eye on this one. So obviously you want the black, which is the front, facing down onto her face, otherwise her ears will be back to front. And then you're literally just stitching them round just to hold them on. They'll be stitched in again properly later. So you could tack these on by hand first if you're at all nervous about it, or you might be stitching it by hand anyway. I might have done those a little bit high, but who wants perfection? Perfection is boring. That's my excuse anyway. So just get them tacked on. So they're ready to go. Okay, her little ears. Next up, you want to get the frill ready, her little mane. So this is just mirrored section, top hand onto bottom section. Holes cut out because we're going to turn it out afterwards and press it. And you just make sure it's all matched up. And then this bit you want to take your time over. So again, you might want to hand sew, make sure you're well within the yellow. Don't want any white showing around the edges. And just go right round the whole frill. my knee lifter's broken at the moment. Oh, still trying to lift up by hand. But this trusty steed of mine has been with me for 20 years now. More than 20 years even. I love it. It will be a pain if I ever move house though. It took some strong people to get this up here. Don't worry if these aren't absolutely perfect either. They're going to kind of gather up a little bit around the head anyway. So you're going right round. And I've run out of thread. So I've sewn right round the edges and I've trimmed out the edges as well, close to the edge. Don't want to go madly close so it doesn't fray, but say a millimetre. Then we can turn this out so that we've got our frill, and I'll just use my little chopstick just to push all the edges out gently. Okay, so you've got the whole of his frill is all ready to be attached. So you want to just go around all of that, and you want to give this a press, making sure I normally really roll it to the edges. So once I can see the stitches, I know I'm right at the edge. Poke out any little bits. And then once you've done that, you can press it, and I'll show you the next bit. So the next bit, we're attaching this. We've pressed it nice and neat to the edges, and we're attaching this. So the ears need to stay down on the face, and I hope I can show this clearly. Basically, this is going to go right round the edge like this. But I do machine everything. I absolutely insist you do hand tack this bit before you machine, or even hand stitch it. So I've got a needle ready. Now I've got a nick at the bottom and top. You'll have a little black line on your fabric already to show you top and bottom. I'm just gonna fold this in half and make sure I know where exactly the top and bottom are on here as well. As usual, I'm using kitchen scissors because I've lost my scissors. One day I won't lose everything. So then we know to attach this nick to this one. I'm just going to put a little pin in. We know that will go all around the edge. Do you see how it's going to come out like this? And I make sure that the bottom one is going to line up as well. So I don't want to get halfway round and find that it won't fit. Now, what you might want to do is just put a few little, like not more than say 0.5 millimetre even, just little snips. It just gives you a little bit extra give to fit it round. Oh, Aurora, you're going to have a new head. Okay. So then we can just tack round, making sure we get these ears in. And we're going to tack right round the edge. What you can also do is stitch this together if you want to hold it together, but as I'm tacking it, I figure I'm doing that at the same time really. Ow, needle right in my finger. Ouch. I banged my head earlier on the bottom of the sewing machine. I was like, wow, not doing very well today. Okay. Tacking all the way round. So the head probably is one of the longest bits to do because you're doing it very carefully and patiently. Patience is not my middle name. But yay, this has fit round perfectly. Oops. Okay. This is interesting for you to watch, isn't it? I really hope it's clear. If you find anything difficult or you're not sure, you can always contact me. I'll just put my contact in the description. It's always useful for me to know what I can improve on. Probably using the right colour thread would be a start, wouldn't it? Okay. Once you get this first bit on, it's plain sailing. And also, if you do then machine it round, like I'm going to, and you catch a little pleat in or anything, it really doesn't matter. It adds to the gather of the frill actually. So let's embrace any issues. Right, I'm doing quite big stitches and it has fit. Always very satisfying when it fits in. So those little tiny snips on the frill, not more than a mil, really helpful in getting it to fit round perfectly. I wonder if people prefer the sleeping face or open eyes face. I couldn't decide, that's why I put them both on there. I'm so sorry, I've left the decision making to you guys. Right, so you can see now how that will work. Now you can see I've got like the white edge showing through, so I have to make sure when I stitch it with the machine now that I've made sure I catch the stitching right inside of that. And if you're doing that by hand, you'll find that really easy because you can just look as you're going along. My machine's a little bit fiddlier, but I'm gonna go for it. So let's just machine around the edges. If you can see that on the video, just about. I might have to speed this bit up. So you're making sure that if the frill is underneath as you stitch, you're not catching the whole thing in. Like a little pleat or gather will be fine, it will look nice, but you don't want to catch the whole frill underneath yourself. So really make sure you're checking it's all flat and it's not caught up as you go around. So exciting playing with these and seeing them come together. I always think I'm developing far too many products and I should just calm down. But it's just such fun creating new little folk. I love it. Okay. I love it when people send me photos of what they've made. It's so exciting. Especially when people embellish with even more things. It's amazing. So do send me pics of anything you put together. I'd love to see. Right, just going around the top of the head. Nearly round. I'll do a little pleat in that bit. And if you want to make the ears shorter, you can just by pulling them down. You can really make this your own. Okay, so I've machined around the edge. I'm checking that no white is coming through, because if it was, I would just go around it again and check. So check at this stage. You don't want to put the next bit on and then find you've got white bits coming through. So here she is. So you might want to pull your tacking bits out now or whenever. Okay, so next, it's quite, and you can see I've got a little pleat there. It doesn't matter, slight one there, it's fine. Next you've got to put the back of the head on. So again, I need to have a little notch either side. There'll be marks on your fabric, and if there isn't, it's just putting a little top and bottom mark on. Okay, so, and you can see like the wider bit of the oval is the top of the head. It goes slightly more a longer curve at the bottom. So now we have to get all of this inside, and can you see it's going to be quite fiddly. All this will be going inside and that will be going on the top. I know that looks like a nightmare. Take your time and it's fine. So again, I'm just matching the notch up here, and I'm definitely going to tack this. And you may end up with a couple more pleats after you've done this, but it doesn't matter. Another pleat and a frill. So you're really just tucking it all in, going round. It will feel like quite a lot of fabric, so you need to leave enough of a gap at the bottom here so that you can turn it out again. Just go around this bit. You can see where I caught that little pleat now. So I'm making sure as I put all of these tacks in that I'm not adding too much of the frill into the edges. Ugh, sorry, it's making it look really messy. It's really not that bad. It's just a question of patience. There are far more complex things to work out in life. Right, so my little notch matches up at the bottom there, but I only need to go to here because I need to be able to, because I need to be able to turn it out. So I should have gone round from the bottom really. Ooh. Okay, so just making sure I tack round. I mean, if you are feeling brave, you could do this on the machine without the tacking, but I wouldn't advise it. Okay, nearly there. Just a couple more tacks. And I've managed to squidge all his little frilly inside. Again, making sure I leave a nice space at the bottom so I can turn it out. Okay, so I'm going to sew with the machine around this, either from the back or the front, it doesn't really matter. But I must make sure I leave a little gap for the neck to go in the bottom. Don't know how good this video angle is for you actually seeing. And I know it looks a bit scruffy inside. So just making sure I do leave a really substantial sized gap. And then I'm going to bravely trim around the edges before even checking. Oh my god. Gotta be. Okay, fingers crossed. Right, and then through the gap, gently pull out your frills. Sometimes if you can get hold of an ear, it helps you pull the whole lot out from top to bottom. So you can see the importance of leaving a good size gap there. Better to have too big a gap that you hand stitch up than a tiny gap you can't get anything out of. So ease it gently, you don't want to rip anything. It'll take you a minute. Oh, here she comes. Hello, hello. Oh, you're so pretty. So there she is, back. I've got a bit of stitch in there that I can just unpick, pull out, will be fine. Trim any threads off. So, although I didn't use yellow thread, it really hasn't caused an issue actually. So you'll just want to give her a little press now. Press this down. This is where the body's going to go into. So next up, you want to stuff the head from the back. So I like to stuff things pretty full and pretty solid, but it's up to you. You might want it more squishy. The head is good if it is pretty stuffed. And then you've got your body. And if you've seen the other dolly video, you will know that I think it's a good idea to just kind of sew this into a bit of a stump. It gives the head something to hold on to. It really it means you can push it right into the head quite easily, right, collapsing. So I just put 3 stitches. You're not going to see this, so if you scrappy stitches through, and then see how she goes on. The head can just go in the back there like this, so you don't see it at the front. Bit unfortunate you don't see this bit so much. As high as you want it, depending on where you stitch it. And then you can just tuck this bit in. Just going to tuck that, just heat press that with my fingers a bit more so it's a bit neater. And once he's in there, whoop, you can just put as many stitches as make it feel secure. So I would just slip stitch this round. Apologies again for the white thread instead of yellow, but it's not too bad if you do it neatly. So go around a few times. I tend to behave as if it's going to be played with by a gorilla and ripped off with force, but actually these aren't really for kiddos, so, or gorillas. I'm sorry if I knocked the camera just then. So just as much as you feel safe with, lift the frill up at the front. And you can just go round, or you can, if you're being very neat, pull your needle into the front bit and in. You're not going to see under the frill too much anyway. And just checking you can see on the screen there. I'm just going to push any little loose frays in. So the first stitches might look a little bit messy as you go round, but as you continue, you can just add, God, it doesn't half get caught up. You can just add more stitches round. Like so, until she is firmly together. That one is, I'll just snip that end one off. Okay, so I will leave you to finish the rest, but that is her head, and once you get her on, you can squidge the stuffing around a little bit. Oh, you can give her a little tilt when you put it on. That's quite cute. Sorry, I'm not even getting on the screen, am I? Okay, so however you want to sew her. So that's all. She's done. You can put the arms and the legs on, make a little bag. So all those other little elements are in the Flora and Astrid Dolly collection, Doll Parts collection video, which I've put a link to in the paper instructions. I'll put a link in this description as well. I just wanted to make sure it was kind of a bit clearer as to how the head worked. Thank you for listening to my waffle.